Good afternoon, people. Titus here for part 11 of our Blender Flashbang mini-series, and in this video we'll be focusing on retopology as we prepare our low poly for the UV unwrapping. Let's not waste any time and jump right into it. Alright, let me go ahead and stop the camera, switch over to Studio. Alright, so for retopology we'll be working pretty much primarily in our low poly. We're basically just trying to lower our try count, as also try to make the topology easier to navigate for our unwraps, because if you have really dense topology, it's going to make the unwrapping process very painful. So I think the first thing we'll start with the charge here, or the fuse charge anyways. We'll isolate it with /, tab into edit mode, and I think we could probably reduce some of these edges here, so you can pretty much just alt select any of them and then shift alt select every other one. And I like to do this on anything that's pretty much like ring shaped. Alright, so now just like that we got every other one selected, and you just hit X and dissolve edges, and you don't lose a lot of the base shape, so I think that's pretty good. Alright, so after that one, let's go ahead and move on to the, let's try the fuse head here. Isolate this guy. So a lot of these poly counts, which, looking at this guy, we have what, 1100 tries on this one. This one I like to go for is like these circles here, and it's just more of the same. You just do shift and then select every other ring. If anyone knows a quicker way to do that, leave a comment down below, because I haven't been able to find an easier way. And then X, dissolve edges. You can see it maintains its shape for the most part. And then normally I'd go a lower piece, but I think I'll just leave it for there for now. Just kind of showing you guys the basics here. And then I basically find one of the edge flows and I just alternate the selections, because the math just seems to work out. And I'm not using alt on this selection because I don't want to do past the basically our extrusion or the hole we made. So X, dissolve edges. Now the other thing I want to do is I don't particularly care for how this triangulated, so I'm going to try and make it more perpendicular. So we'll do Control 1. We're going to have to do both sides. I'd say you can also put on a mirror, but yeah, it's not too bad. So I'm going to select the top one there, shift select that one, press J to join. I want to just kind of do a straight shot over here, so I'll press K to go into my knife tool, select, hit an edge select there, and then press Enter to lock it in. And then on the bottom one, again, I'm going to do knife tool, hover over that vertex, bring it straight down, then press Enter to lock it in. Then I can go to edge select, press X, dissolve that edge, and I just have something kind of like that. And I'm going to do the same thing over here as well. So we'll go back to edge select, press K for our knife tool, click there, enter to lock it in, K for a knife tool again, lock it in. Alright, and then I'm going to select these edges here, dissolve them out. And I find I just have a better experience when I'm doing my shading when it's kind of set up like this. You can of course also just add a triangulate modifier on there and it'll do it for you, but it also hits everything, so it can sometimes mess some stuff up if you're not careful. Alright, and then we just have to do the same thing on this side. Lock that in there. Oops, I think I missed on that one. There we go. Okay, and we'll go to edge select these two edges here, we'll dissolve them out. And then last one we're going to do right here. That one I think is okay. We'll shift select, we already have some points up top, so we can just use those. Looks like we don't have any points on the side though. So we'll go into K for our knife tool, and we'll make a new one. And nothing at the bottom either. So we'll select here, K to our knife tool. And then enter to lock that in. And then we'll go back to edge mode. We'll dissolve out that edge there. I think that's pretty okay. One other thing you can try too, I think I'll leave them on for this bake, but another way to save some space is you can select these end caps like this, Control plus, grow the selection, and then you can press X and delete the faces. So they're both gone, and then you just go to edge select and then hit Alt and then Shift Alt, F to fill, and that'll reduce your try counts quite a bit. And you can see we actually went down to 600. I'm actually going to try it. I'm gonna try the bake with it on though, because I did a preliminary bake and it definitely worked, but some of the detail just wasn't there like I was hoping. So I'm gonna leave it in on this round. But all right, that looks pretty good there. So we'll go ahead and / to come out of isolation mode. Next part we want to do, we'll go into the handle, bring it to there. And this is going to be kind of more of the same, because we punched a hole, so we're going to want to reduce the count and then triangulate it so we don't have any weird like shading issues. So we'll go back to our edge selection. And some of the retopology stuff you'll find is probably pretty boring, but it's good to know how to do it. There's some automated tools out there, and they work pretty good. But sometimes when you run into issues with them, if you don't know generally how to do any retopology, you're not going to know how to troubleshoot them, so it's always good to learn. Alright, looks good there. Come over on this side. Let's do frame selected to reset my view. Alright, and shift select, and we'll just alternate and do every other selection here. Then X, dissolve the edges, looks good. And then we can just simply go into vertex mode, and then we're going to do kind of more of the same. So we'll cut that into there. That's already got a piece there. And I think I will also, I could probably get away just triangulating it there, honestly. Yeah, I think I'll just do that. We'll just join that there. Join that there. And then I can dissolve that one. That looks pretty good. Alright, and then same thing on this side, and then we gotta do the other one. So we'll shift select this guy, join it, and join that one, and then we gotta do a knife cut. And this is probably a little bit overkill. I don't think you could probably get away with just triangulating into the corners. Sometimes you get some weird artifacting, so I just have better luck with this type of grid layout. Alright, and then last one's over there. Actually, did we do this side? No, we gotta do both sides. Okay. We got a little bit. Alright, so K, cut into there, lock it in, shift select, join that, top, and oops, undo shift select, join that. We'll dissolve out that edge with X, back to vertex mode. Oops. Let me reset my view. There we go. Sometimes it gets hard to move around. Alright, shift select the bottom piece. We'll join it. And we will go into our knife tool with K. Lock in that piece there, press enter. And then we will shift select and J to join. Go back to edge select, dissolve this one out. And it looks pretty good. And looking at the model, I don't really, it's pretty low poly. I mean, it has only 900 tries in it anyways. So I don't particularly think there's going to be a lot we can do to reduce it. But yeah. Yeah, we could probably remove some edges, but I don't think we're going to get anything significant out of that, so we'll just come out of isolation mode on that one, tab back into object mode. The one that we can get a lot in, and it is probably going to be the tank, because if we actually come into it, that one has, what, 4,000 tries? Yeah, 4,000 tries, so this one's got a lot. And this one, I think the easiest way, because we don't need a lot of the inside, so I think what I'll do is I will Alt select the top ring, Shift Alt select, and I'm just going to just alternate rings, I think. Could probably get rid of most of them. One in the middle, so I don't need that one. So it's X, dissolve those edges. I think I'll do that. But on the inside, I could probably get rid of all of them, but I'll keep some of them. We'll start with a little, see how it turns out. You know, if you got room, you can always come back to your model and retopologize even further. So, oh, I'm regretting this. All right, Alt, Shift. Actually, I'm just going to dissolve these, and then I'm going to reset my view. There we go. Yeah, I can move a little bit quicker. All right, Shift, well, actually we'll do Alt, and then Shift, Alt, and then continue coming down. And I am going to do Shift, Alt on this one. Dissolve edges. And I'm a little bit more conservative than I normally am. Normally I would eat away all those rings on both the outside and the inside. Just to see what I can get away with. But on the previous bake I did a little test run. The outside was fine, but the inside was a little bit rough. So I'm going to see if maybe this helps out a little bit. And you can see with this one, we went from 4,000 to 3,000 tries. So you do gain a lot for very little. So, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot, just kind of going through your shape, seeing what you can get rid of without losing its overall look. And you can save a lot of performance. So this is a good thing to do if you're like working in like a game and you're trying to improve like like your frames per second, especially like a multiplayer. This is probably, besides like coding things, efficient coding is always good, but optimized models and meshes, that's where a lot of the expensive stuff happens. So it's worth doing. But all right, so that is the tank. I don't think there can come into, actually, yeah, there's probably some stuff we can get rid of here. I think we can get rid of this guy. Let's see how that looks there. Yeah, that looks good. We can do Alt, Shift Alt, X, dissolve those edges. That'll save us some polys. So come out of that, and then we'll do the same thing over here. Tab in. I will Alt select that ring. And maybe I will actually do both of them. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. So we'll do Alt and then Shift Alt, X, dissolve edges. Come out of there. And I think these are already looking a little rough. That means our high poly is going to be rough actually, because I did not mess with the subsurf on that. So we may need to look at our high poly, because that looks a little bit octagonal. I know these pins are going to be a problem for us probably, but we'll just have to deal with it. That's okay. Alright, so I think we were around like pretty close to 12,000. If I remember right. So if we select everything, maybe it was like 11.6 or something. Select everything, tab in, see how we did. Just under 10,000 tries, so you know, a little bit of efficiency gained there. So not great, but not awful either. But let's take a look at our high poly. Let's look at our rings real quick. Yeah, look at that. So they are a little bit rough. Actually, our collar is too. Thinking about it. So what we can do is on the ring, let's just add a subsurf. Let's bump. Yeah, let's bump it to 2. And we'll apply it. We'll add a subsurf on this guy, 2. We'll bump it to 2, and then we'll apply it. This is again on our high poly, not our low poly. And then if you notice this guy right here, he's a little bit not as smooth as he could be, so let's just add a subsurf. And we'll bump it to 2. You can see it looks like the shape is pretty much gone. So what we can do is we'll hide it. And we'll tab into edit mode. And let's just go ahead and alt select some rings here. I'm gonna do this guy, that guy. Shift Alt, I'll do that one, and the bottom one. We'll press N, and under item details, we'll add a mean crease. So now you should have those lines kind of marked red there. And we might have to play and add some more here. We'll see how it looks. Tab back in object mode. Let's turn on our subsurf. And that seems to be holding its shape a lot better. Yeah, it looks good. Come out of isolation mode and you can see it's not as jagged, I guess. It looks a lot smoother. Now, normally I would actually do the same thing on the fuse head to get rid of some of these harsh lines. It would kind of smooth them out and kind of bevel it. But I'm going to leave it kind of blocky because I'm going for a blocky look on this this run around. But that is certainly something you could do. Like you could isolate it, and then like if you added a subsurf modifier on it and you bumped it to like 3 or 2. What you can do is just go to like select and do like select sharp edges and add a mean crease, and you can see you get away with a lot. You'd still have to hide it and add some extra mean creases, like one on that side there. You'd have to add one going across there. You'd want to build one out over there, and that'll deal with a lot of the extra shading things. But on this particular model, I am not going to do that. But if you guys wanted to, you certainly could. So I'm going to get rid of my subsurf modifier, come out of isolation mode, and all right, I think we will pretty much cut it there, everyone. So The next part's going to be the UV unwrapping, and I suspect that's probably going to be the longest part. Maybe not. We'll see how it goes. It depends on... I think that handle is going to give us trouble on the UV unwrapping. So I expect we're going to be spending a lot of time at least on that portion of it. But yeah, so we'll be focusing on UV unwrapping in the next one. If you enjoyed the vid, consider leaving a like. But thanks for watching, consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.